Welcome to the locker room. I'm Nancy. Oh, I got a sticker. Sorry. It is 4:03 in the afternoon. We're running an hour late today. I had to, with having my MRI today and my therapy appointment, I got to go tomorrow and get x-rays. And, well, it's Friday. I have to go to Hutchinson. So, and then on the 11th, I will find out the results of my MRI and the x-rays that I got today, or that I will get tomorrow. So, okay. I was reading notes from before. Okay, so today we are going to analyze the case of Melodee Buzzard, the 9-year-old girl that hasn't been seen in a year. It's the latest, to the best of my knowledge. Child disappearance, strange event that has happened. So let's pull up my grok here. All right. The case analysis, the disappearance of Melodee Buzzard. The case of a 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard reported missing from Lompoc, California on October 14th, 2025, has rapidly escalated into a multi-state investigation involving the FBI and local law enforcement, described as perplexing and chilling by authorities. The disappearance centers on a cross-country road trip with her mother, Ashley Buzzard, marked by suspicious actions like the use of disguises and a fake license plate. As of November 5th, 2025, 3 weeks after the report, Melodee remains at risk and unlocated with no arrests made. The analysis draws on official statements, surveillance evidence, and investigative updates to outline the case, timeline, key developments, and potential implications. Okay, the victim profile. Melodee Buzzard, born February 10th, 2016, is a Caucasian female, approximately 4 feet to 4 feet 6 inches tall. Okay. 4 feet to 4 feet, there's 6 inches different there. Okay. At 9 years old, weighing 60 to 100 pounds with brown curly hair and brown eyes. Her appearance may have changed significantly. Investigators note she should be wearing wigs. She could be wearing wigs, and her hair might appear to be darker and straighter than natural. She was homeschooled in Vandenberg Village near Vandenberg Space Force Base. Say that 10 times real fast. In Santa Barbara County, California. Prior to the disappearance, there were no credible sightings of Melodee for at least a year and no photographs of her in 2 years. That's why all the pictures we've seen of her, she looks like such a young little girl, because her pictures are all 2 years from when she was like 6 or 7 years old or younger. That's why she would still have baby teeth in her pictures and chippy little cute cheeks Okay. Raising near, okay, photographs of her in 2 years, raising early concerns about her well being. A confirmed sighting occurred in August 2025 following public tips. The detailed timeline. The following table summarizes the key events based on surveillance, witness reports, and vehicle tracking. August 2025, confirmed sighting of Melodee after public request for information. October 7th, 2025, Melodee and mother Ashley seen on video at a Lompoc area rental car agency. Both appear to wear wigs. Melodee is in a gray hoodie sweatshirt, straight black hair. Ashley also in disguise. They rent a white 2024 Chevy Malibu, California plates, and departed eastward toward Nebraska. October 8th, during eastward travel, Ashley switches the vehicle's license plate to a fake New York plate to evade detection. The plate does not belong to the vehicle or Ashley. October 9th, last confirmed sighting, Melodee captured on video surveillance in the Colorado-Utah border region. During the return trip, vehicle route includes Green River, Utah.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Panguitch, Utah, Northeast Arizona, Primm, Nevada, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. Ashley returns alone to Lompoc, drops off the rental car, original California plates reinstalled, no sign of Melodee. Melodee's prolonged absence from homeschool oversight prompts a welfare check by school facility. Reporting missing investigation begins. Ashley initially questioned but provided no explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. Late October 2025. Ashley becomes uncooperative. FBI joins the search warrant, executes no home rental car and storage locker, no significant findings reported. Window of disappearance narrowed to October 7th to the 10th. Okay, November 3rd to the 5th of 2025. New photo release showing Melodee and Ashley at rental agency, both in wigs. Map of return route publicized. Grandmother publicly pleads for Ashley to tell them where the baby is. Additional searches at Ashley's home. She is escorted away to allow thorough access. Key evidence and investigative focus. Okay. So far, Mom is not saying a word. I don't understand all that. If I can't say what I would do if I were law enforcement because there's different laws in different states. I mean, seriously, what do you got to do in the state of California to get arrested? Look at what the rap singer David did. He drove around with an unalived little girl in the back of, or the front trunk of his Tesla for long enough for her to start decomposing before he just parks it on the side of the road and takes off on a tour. He didn't care. He didn't get arrested. Still hadn't been arrested. And then look at this. Melodee's mother is off with her daughter somehow, some way, somewhere, and police walk up to her door and she don't have to say a word. You have the right to remain silent. Well, okay, I guess she chose that right. But did she ask for an attorney? No. She's just going to remain silent. I would want to take her by the shoulder and smack her upside the face a couple of times and say, listen, lady. Listen, Linda. Listen. Listen, Linda. But I wouldn't do that. I'm just trying to. Okay. Surveillance footage. Critical video from October 7th at the rental agency and October 9th, Colorado-Utah border confirmed Melodee's presence early in the trip, but highlighted the disguises. Authorities are canvassing for more footage along the October 9th and 10th return route across 5 states: Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and California. Now, hold on. Okay. I'm going to show you another picture. We'll come back to this. I'll show you a picture. Okay. Look here. This is Mama. This is 9-year-old. 9-year-old. You're going to tell me that a 9-year-old is as tall as a 25-year-old? I might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. I do not believe that this girl with skinny features, a skinny body, she doesn't have to have right the skin tone color. Let me see if I got another picture of her. Okay. We'll come back to that one. Look at the skin tone color. She is an olive skin tone color. She is part Native American or she looks like she could be part Spanish or of the Spanish descent. Mama is dark skinned. This is not spray on tan. This didn't come out of a QT bottle. This girl has a dark skin tone. Let's go back to the other picture. This little girl is as white can be. She's got lighter skin tone than I do. No way that those are the same two girls. And at 9 years old, I've never in my life seen a 9-year-old that was 5 foot tall. No way. There's no way. That child is almost as tall as that full-grown woman. I do not believe that this is Ashley. This could be her cousin. This might not even be the same woman because she's very pale skinned too. How do we know this is her? This is the car rental place that says it's her, but I don't think it's actually her. I really don't. All right, let's go back to Grok. Somebody's trying to blow smoke up, or yes, it was. And I'm sorry, that's an exit, not an entry. Okay. The vehicle and license plate tampering. The Malibu rental, no longer in Ashley's possession, was tracked via tolls and camera. Fake New York plate switch permeated evasion. possibly to avoid child welfare checks on creditors. Ashley faces multiple civil debt cases. Civil debt cases. Is that like, what's a civil debt case? Is that using somebody else's credit card? Stolen credit cards or something? Disguises and behavioral red flags. Yeah, I see red flags all over the place. Don't you? Do you see red flags? I'm sorry. Somebody's going to have to show me better evidence because I do not believe that that real tall girl is a 9-year-old. I have a 10-year-old granddaughter, and she barely comes up to my chest. I have a 5-year-old niece, and she is just, she's still under my chest. I mean, just a little bit above my waist. And her mama and daddy are both tall. So, Ashley is known to regularly wear wigs. The matching disguises for mother and daughter indicate an intent to conceal identities. Post disappearance, Ashley was recorded removing missing person posters from her property. That sounds like the Proudfoots, don't it? Wonder if she's related to the Proudfoots. Recent warrants as of November 2025 targeted Ashley's home, storage unit, and the rental car. Detectives escorted her off-site to prevent interference, but no public disclosures of evidence from these searches has been revealed. Melodee's grandmother has made emotional pleas expressing desperation and implying Ashley knows Melodee's location. No other family members or associates have been publicly implicated. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office and FBI described the case as high priority with a focus on the 48-hour gap around October 9th. No evidence of abduction by a third party has surfaced. The trip was mother-daughter only. Analysis and theories. This case exhibits classic markers of parental involvement in child disappearances, often termed family abductions.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
There was a teenager killed in a Walmart after kicking a man's shopping cart. That's what that email was I just got. So sad. Okay. Or custodial interference, though the circumstances suggest more sinister possibilities. Evasion tactics, the fake wigs and cross-country route reaching Nebraska before abruptly turning back point to deliberate concealment. This could stem from Ashley's financial pressures, unpaid debts, or fear of custody loss. But the abandonment on return raises alarm. Okay. That's something I can't figure out. I have been hearing ever since my children were little, because that's the first time I was really old enough to pay attention to what was going on. Prior to that, I was young and dumb. I'm still dumb, but I just ain't young anymore. So, okay, she's fearing custody loss. So she's afraid she's going to lose her daughter for some reason or another, okay? Whether it be the biological father's trying to get custody of her, or is there a CPS case against her and she's going to be taken away by CPS, or we don't know the situation. Is grandma trying to get grandparents' rights and take the child away because she doesn't think the mama's good enough? I've seen it happen. Okay. But instead of facing the situation head on and doing everything you can to keep your child with you so that you know where your child is, you're going to up and put your kid in a car and take her a quarter of the way across the country and drop her off where you don't see her again, and you still don't have custody of the child that you're trying to keep from losing custody of. That makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. But the abandonment on return raises alarms. Why would you take your kid and put your kid somewhere where you can't even see your child because it's 7 hours away from where you live, and you can't see them through CPS? Because if CPS had taken the child, at least she could have visitation, even supervised visitation. She'd know her child was being taken care of. She'd know her child was healthy and wealthy and whatever, she'd be getting medical care she needs and all this. So if daddy was getting custody and mama was getting sometimes visitations, at least she'd still see her daughter. If maternal grandma was getting custody, all mama has to do is go over and visit, and she could see that baby anytime she wants. Why take her to 5 states away from where you live and drop her off and come home and deal with the fact that she's gone and just stand there and say, when the police ask you where she's at? You can't see your child. You're afraid you're going to lose your child. You done give up your child. It doesn't make sense. The math ain't mathing here on this one. Narrow disappearance window. Melodee was verified present on October 9th, but absent by October 10th. Theories include. Now, like I'm saying, I don't believe that really tall person in that picture in the gray hoodie was a 9-year-old child. Okay, Ashley may have left Melodee at a rest stop, motel, or with an unknown contact along the route, e.g. in Utah or Arizona. Why? The lack of cooperation and removal of posters fuels speculation of foul play, potentially to cover up an accident or intentional act during the trip. Her hiding, less likely but possible. Melodee was placed with a relative or acquaintance out of state, with Ashley protecting the location. That's possible, but she still can't see the kid, because if she goes anywhere, she's going to have law enforcement following her and finding out where she's going and what she's doing. She's going to be watched 24/7 until poor little Melodee is brought home. Melodee's at-risk status stems from her age, the homeschool isolation, the lack of recent documentation. Statistically, 90% of missing children cases involving parents resolve within days, but uncooperativeness prolongs outcome and increase harm risk. Okay? Border context. The case echoes high-profile parental vanishings, e.g. cases like Kaylee Anthony.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Where maternal actions post-disappearance erode trust. Because you remember Kaylee Anthony, what she did with Casey, her little baby. She claimed that she was missing for 30 days when the child had drowned and was put in a hot car and driven off into a ditch less than a mile away from her home and left in that hot car in July or August, I don't remember what it was, until Casey's dad or Kaylee's dad found Casey in the car. And then Kaylee Anthony got off scot-free. She's out of jail. Already out of jail, already posted more TikToks. Okay, where maternal actions post-disappearance erode trust. Public pressures via media and social platforms, e.g. ex post amplifying the grandmother's plea, may force breakthroughs. No digital footprints, phone pings, no phone pings, or witnesses have emerged beyond the route, underscoring the need for tips from truck stops or gas stations. The current status and development. As of November 5th, 2025, the search spans 5 states. The FBI, Denver, and Los Angeles offices actively soliciting tips. Melodee is endangered due to her vulnerability. Ashley Buzzard is not charged, but is the primary focus. Her non-cooperation has drawn scrutiny, with some media labeling her a suspect. The grandmother's public appeal on November 5th underscores family fracture. You need to tell them where the baby is. Because, see, Ashley has an older sister that, not Ashley, Melodee has an older sister that stays with the mom sometimes. The older sister was seen carrying laundry out in the beginning days, and she wouldn't talk about Ashley or Melodee. And that older sister was not even as tall as the mama. So I don't believe Melodee would be as tall as the mama either. Okay. How to help. You can submit tips to Santa Barbara Sheriff's tip line or online at sbsheriff.org or call 800-CALL-FBI or tips to fbi.gov. The focus areas are witnesses or footage from October 9th and 10th along the return map available by FBI posts. I have a copy of the map. Share official posters widely, but avoid speculation to protect the investigation. This case remains fluid. Real-time updates via official channels are essential. Melodee's safe return hinges on public vigilance along that desolate return path. Okay. And that's the end of that. So we're going to come back over here and see what this. Okay. This is where the new timeline is. All right. Let's put it far up. There's a link to this in the description. This is from News Nation. Let me put some sound on back here. Okay. Let's listen. This is only 10 minutes. And
It's from the car rental office near their Lompoc, California home on October the 7th. That's the day they embarked on a highly mysterious road trip to Nebraska. We've seen a picture of young Melodee from that visit, but now the aperture has widened. And we can see her mom, Ashley, too. And now it's obvious why police were saying it seems like the child was wearing a wig because mom was known to wear wigs. And this particular photograph proves that. Police are now also confirming that Melodee, the child, was seen alive as late as October the 9th, 2 days after that picture that you just saw. That's when Ashley was making her way back from Nebraska to Southern California. They say surveillance video places the child near the Colorado-Utah border.
okay, this is the map that they took. This is Lompoc, California. They're going to come across, well, actually, they're up here in Green River, Utah, because they've gone up here. Now they're coming back. They're in Green River, Utah. They come down through Pangatuck, Utah, and down through St. George, Utah, cut across the corner of Arizona, and cut down through Las Vegas and Prim, Nevada, cut the bottom corner of Nevada off here, come all the way down through California to Rancho Cucamonga, and then come back across to Lompoc, California. And they're thinking that somewhere in between here at St. George, Utah, and down here at Las Vegas, or Prim, whatever, Utah, Nevada, I'm sorry. Somewhere in this stretch of land is where the suspicion is that Melodee was left on their return trip.
After that, they say Ashley drove through and made stops in Green River, Utah, Panguitch, Utah, St. George, Utah, a tiny corner northwest Arizona, Prim, Nevada, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. All of the stops on your screen were on or about October the 9th. On the 10th, they say Ashley returned home to Lompoc all alone. Police are asking anyone who may have spotted Ashley's rented white 2024 Chevy Malibu in any of these places to call them. And speaking of that white Malibu that they are referencing, we're now learning Ashley switched license plates while she was en route in that car. Police say the car was spotted October 8th with a New York license plate that did not belong to the rental company nor to Ashley. When she turned that rental car back in, the original California plate had been reaffixed to that car. Nothing suspicious about that, am I right? Yeah. Joining me now to sort out all of this is retired FBI agent Jennifer Koffendorfer. So the most important part of all of the revelations today, the video, the license plates, the wig, all of it, what's your read?
The most important thing is we have a whole new date where now we know she was alive, and that was on the 9th. That is huge information. But I think on top of that, Ashley, look at the fact that they said she was on camera on the Utah border, but yet they have all those other destinations and cities that were far west of there, yet no camera footage of her. That is so concerning. It makes me think she didn't make it far past that point that she's last seen.
So the October 9th sighting, I'm confused as to why the police are only telling us that now. If they're looking for people and extra eyeballs to get on this story and give them tips, why are they just telling these things to us now?
Well,
What 9-year-old girl wears a purse, a crossbody purse? Nah. Nah. She is just, there's no way. She should be shorter than mom being behind mom, for one thing. Not taller than Mom. So, yeah. And 9-year-olds don't have bumps unless Mama's filling them bumps with something to make her look older. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's, in my opinion, I do not believe that this is Melodee.
Actually, I'm wondering when this information came to them, when they first were able to discern that she was on that camera. This is a situation of true gumshoe FBI agent work. You have AO leads, which are auxiliary office leads that are put out to all these different areas, and these agents have to go to these particular locations and pull camera footage. Then they have to download it. Then they have to sit there and meticulously watch it. And that's how they're getting the footage like the one they referred to. So maybe this is a little fresher than we think.
Before you buy the Natural Healing Handbook, here's what just changed. Your cart will now automatically apply.
So talk to me about that route, the map that we put up, and the fact that the police are now telling us they're searching 4 different states. How exactly does this work, especially if the FBI is taking lead?
So the headquarters of the FBI for this case is out of Los Angeles. There's an RA in San Maria. I believe that's the RA that would handle this case. They are responsible for putting out what we call leads to all of these other offices that are throughout this 4-state region. From there, a lead lands on your desk, and this is going to be a priority lead as opposed to routine, and you're going to go out and cover that lead. In other words, look at that location where they know that they have been.
So when you say look in the location, those states are all big. Do they just sort of hit everything along the highway, or how do they actually tackle this?
Well, first of all, I think there's very pointed information that's from that GPS in that Malibu, possibly also if she had a cell phone, and certainly from her credit card. We know she had a credit card to rent that. So I think they're also working on that credit card information to track. And so those agents are going to be pointedly go to those locations along that route to try to pull information such as the video surveillance from those locations.
So does that mean they put boots on the ground at every single stop that, say, a credit card is seen to have activated? Like every gas station, they'll go to each gas station and say, what did you see? Did you see the little girl? I mean, is it literally that much gumshoe detective boots on the ground work?
Absolutely. You're going to go to those locations, and I'm sure they're going to do this the right way. You're also going to want to go at the exact time that they are believed to have used that credit card. And this is why. There's people that hang around those gas stations at different times. You've seen them, I've seen them. People are routine. So you're going to want to interview all those witnesses, the clerks that were working at that particular time, and pull that footage.
So Jennifer, like you and I have been talking about this case for weeks, and there's just what I feel like is a mountain of evidence of bad acting, right? Bad actor behavior, switching license plates, wearing wigs, evidence is taken from the home, renting cars, you know. This is all the sort of stuff that innocent people don't typically do. Why is this woman, Ashley Buzzard, Melodee's mother, not arrested yet?
Well, the biggest problem is anytime you want to arrest somebody, you have to have the criminal violation in hand that you can charge. So if you look at this case, the number one thing they could do is put her before a dependency court. All they have to do is have a judge issue a summons to her. They need to pull her into court and have her explain what is going on with her daughter. At the point she does not explain, she can be held in contempt and jailed until she explains.
So the dependency court, this is the thing that's been really bugging me. I feel like we got 2 weeks ago, CPS going to the door, handing her a document that neighbors said was produce this child in 72 hours. Well, 72 hours came and went. And then we learned it wasn't a police request. This was a CPS request, but we never heard that police made that same request. Why would they not have made the same request? Why aren't they making it today?
Well, you know, I'm looking at this thinking that there is good reason for when she is out. Remember, she is the only person that really knows what happened to Melodee. And so she's a key witness. For instance, that storage locker, do they know about the storage locker from the credit card information? Or was she frequently going to that storage locker? I am sure they have her under surveillance, and she's providing information unwittingly about just through her actions now.
Again, surveillance is one thing.
That's what I was talking about. No matter where she goes or what she does now, somebody is following her. Somebody is looking over her shoulder to see what she's up to.
Arresting someone and then scaring the bejesus out of them with, you know, potential murder charges until she coughs up information. That's another thing. Is that just not a good strategy?
I don't think it's that it's not a good strategy. I think that they're toiling with what are they going to arrest her for. Any parent can take a child and have them go and visit an individual that they deem appropriate to visit. That's not a crime. Certainly everything she's doing and everything we know leads us to think this is a crime that she has possibly committed. But Ashley, the truancy law changed October 1st in California. So to me, the truancy would have been the number one thing they could have charged her with, but now that's not a criminal violation as of literally October 1st.
Should be. Makes me livid. All right, last question. Are they watching for a major mistake being made on the part of Ashley Buzzard? And if so, what's that mistake they're looking for?
Well, Ashley, do you remember when we talked about a week and a half ago, the cars that she tried to rent? I think that could have been a key clue if she would have been able to rent those cars. Was she going back to the location that she left Melodee? That's the kind of mistake they're looking for, and that's what they're hoping, that somehow she will make a huge mistake like that and lead them to Melodee.
Not hoping that she's listening to this, but how on earth do you keep eyes on someone like this so that she doesn't disappear into the ether?
Well, there's cameras that can be put on in her neighborhood and that can watch her, and I would believe that they have that in place and are watching her remotely.
Jennifer Coffendorfer, I hope we end up meeting in a different circumstance, and that is, you know, good news that they found this girl and that hopefully they'll put her into some kind of a custodial situation where she can live out her middle school. I mean, she's barely even in middle school. I think at 9 she might still be in elementary school. But
Okay, so that's what Jennifer Coffendorfer has to say. She's former FBI. She knows her stuff. But basically what she's saying is so far, the mama hasn't done anything wrong. The largest thing that the mama has done wrong so far that's known about is switching the license plate on them vehicles. And keeping her mouth shut, which isn't against the law. You have the right to remain silent. Okay, let's go look at Court TV here.
Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Interesting, right? Significant. She has some familiarity with Vegas, but obviously you're in.
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. Take a string and a pencil, twist off the faucet's old nozzle like this, then get the U-shaped faucet extender and twist it on counterclockwise.
In Vegas, but you end up in Nebraska. How much effort would you put towards kind of canvassing Vegas?
A lot, and I would be looking at her contacts on her phones or texts. Or internet searches? Did she reach out for somebody? Did she meet somebody online recently that her mom may not know about? And did she travel to that person? And so I'd be looking at all of those things. But certainly Vegas is, with that information that she has family that she's visited previously, I would certainly focus on that. But that can be kind of done fairly quickly. And so if that hasn't been fruitful, then they've got to kind of take those next steps and go further east on this trip and continue that search. Look at her search histories. Did she search for any areas around this route? Did she meet anybody that might live online along this route or somewhere in this area? All of those things are being done.
And one last question, Bobby, before we run out of time here. The rental car. From my perspective, I'm not a detective, I'm not an investigator, but it seems like there's a positive and a negative to it, right? The rental car companies do sort of track their cars to a certain extent, but then when you return them, the first thing they do is clean these things up. What are your thoughts about getting any sort of valuable evidence from the rental car?
Well, I mean, and we know that, like, they probably don't clean it to the extent that a criminal that's trying to execute some forensic countermeasures would clean them. Like, they don't take bleach to the inside of the car, for example, right? So, I think that they vacuum, they kind of wipe it down. But if there was any, like, forensic, now the kid was in the car, so you're not looking for hair or things like that because you would expect to find that. You're looking for blood and other, bodily fluids that may have been a result of an injury. And so, that stuff, you can wipe off, but you're not going to cover it up, with a detailed examination.
Bobby Chacon, always great to have your insight. Thank you so much. Crystal's going to stick around. Coming up next, is Ashley Buzzard dealing with mental issues?
House was in disarray. There were raw eggs in pans. There was rotten food in the fridge that I think she was trying to give my granddaughter.
I ended up asking him if he loved me. He said, I don't know. I said, do you love her? He said, I don't know.
That set you off?
Someone was stabbed? Yes, she's on the floor.
I didn't have the intent to kill Sarah. I really just wanted to scare them.
It looks more like fury than fear. Did you kill Sarah to possess what she had with Josh?
Sorry.
Interview with a Killer. New episode Saturday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
We want answers! We want answers! We're all looking for answers, but, we're showing up today so that way, she knows we care. We're here for Melodee, and hopefully she will come out and tell us where she's at.
Very concerned neighbors for obvious reasons. There's a 9-year-old girl supposed to be living in that house, and no one knows where someone knows where she is, but no one is saying where she is. I want you to take a listen to this. This is Ashley Buzzard's mother, okay? So this will be Melodee's maternal grandmother speaking about Ashley.
He said, did you know that your granddaughter was missing? And I said, missing? He goes, when's the last time you talked to your daughter? I said, I don't know, 2 years, a year and a half ago. The psychologist that I was seeing said, I said, should I be keeping these things? I keep buying them for her for Christmas and her birthday. She said, if you keep them for her, she'll know that when she was gone, you were thinking about her. So that's why I keep them. But sometimes I wonder, am I going nuts, right? About 15 minutes later, a sheriff calls me. He says, I'm at your daughter's house in Orchid, and I was just getting ready to take your granddaughter Melodee with me to CPS because we're getting ready to take your daughter to the hospital. The house was in disarray. There were raw eggs in pans. There was rotten food in the fridge that I think she was trying to give my granddaughter.
Some moms want to build income from home. They just don't want to post, pitch, or be online all the time. That's exactly why Amazon Zero is catching on. Zero social.
I got a question.
That's the grandma.
Okay. The police officer called Grandma and said, we're at your daughter's house and we're about to take your granddaughter. So, being the grandma, I would think that my granddaughter is at the house right there. The police were going to take her to CPS. How could Ashley have Melodee back? think it's the older daughter that she's about to take to CPS. I don't know.
Talking about this is completely separate from the disappearance of Melodee Buzzard. This is another instance where the sheriff is very concerned about Ashley and her ability to care for Melodee. That brings us to the next question in our investigation. Is Ashley Buzzard dealing with mental health issues? With us to help answer that question, still with us, is Scripps News Group reporter Crystal Bermudez, who is live in Santa Barbara County. Also joining us, licensed clinical psychologist Dr. Jamie Zuckerman. Thank you both. All right, Crystal, can you give us a little more insight? You've been speaking to a lot of family members, and from what I gather, it seems like all of them sort of acknowledge that there is some level of mental health that Ashley is dealing with. Did anyone talk about a specific diagnosis? Did they talk about what they've observed?
Yeah, in that sit-down interview with Lori Miranda, Ashley Buzzard's mother, Melodee's maternal grandmother, she was talking to me about a separate situation, as you mentioned, that occurred back in 2016 when she received a phone call from an officer telling her to come to her residence. At the time, she had lived in Orcutt, California. And when she arrived, she describes what she had seen. The house was quote unquote in disarray. There was rotten food in the fridge, and she had believed that she was feeding that food to her oldest daughter, Ashley's oldest daughter, Destiny. I did learn along the way as I was speaking with Lori that Ashley did lose custody of that oldest daughter. I have been trying to get in contact with her, but haven't had much luck. But I did want to share a statement from Ashley's aunts and other family members. They shared this with me earlier last week, and in part they wrote, quote, "As reported, after giving birth to Melodee, Ashley experienced the loss of Melodee's father 6 months later. We believe she may have been experiencing untreated postpartum depression in addition to the grief from the loss of Melodee's father on top of her mental health struggles. All this while trying to do her best to hold it all together as a single mom with little resources," end quote. And there's a full statement up on one of my articles on ksby.com. But Lori did talk to me about bipolar disorder that Ashley may have had. She talked about one time taking her to the mental hospital, and that's where she had been diagnosed by a psychiatrist. But when I mentioned to her the statement that was brought to my attention by other family members, which would be Melodee's aunts from her mother's side, she told me she has not been in contact with these family members, and she was not made aware of this statement, but did appreciate the statement that was passed along to me.
Dr. Jamie Zuckerman, okay, let's talk about this now. How do you figure out what's going on with mom? Because the big issue obviously is that her daughter's missing and she's just not talking to anyone.
You might not realize that you could qualify for disability benefits. The program is designed for anyone who is unable.
Yeah, I think being uncooperative regardless is a red flag. And I said this before, that it's really a question of, is she hiding her or is she harming her? And we don't have enough information. We have family reports. They haven't seen her in a long time. So per the family, she has mental health issues. And yes, it could be untreated postpartum from 2016 when Melodee's father died in an accident. We have to question, are there drugs and alcohol involved? Is it more of a serious mental illness?
Okay, Ashley's father passed away, so that would be Melodee's grandfather that passed away. She must have been really close with her dad if she's still having PTSD from her dad passing away, unless she just was standing there and watched it happen. I mean, I know how that feels too. But, it just, they're trying to say, see this woman standing in front of this man? He's almost as tall. This looks like the same little girl that had the hair back in the ponytail like this and all these curls right here. This looks like that same person. And she's up to like right here on this man. she's the older sister. So I don't think, and she's not even old enough to be on her own. Otherwise, Melodee wouldn't have lost, or not Melodee, Ashley wouldn't have lost custody of her to CPS. So there's no way you can tell me that that 9-year-old is going to be taller than that teenager. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Like a bipolar disorder and a manic episode, or schizophrenia, which would result in paranoid delusions or disorganized thinking, disorganized behavior. So that could make sense, but we just don't have enough information to explain why she would do this, and more importantly, why she's being uncooperative. I think the bigger question is this because of a serious mental illness, or is this action of taking her child and driving across states something that is a deliberate and purposeful attempt to, to hide her, or, give her to somebody, or harm her for her own benefit? And I think that's the bigger question that we're waiting on.
Let me ask you this, doctor. If in fact she is suffering from some level of mental illness and is treated through treatment, could that perhaps change her posture here? And would that perhaps be a road to getting her to talk about what happened to Melodee, if whether it's treatment through, speaking with her, whether there's any sort of drugs that she would need? Is that a possible road to getting to the truth here, if she is suffering from some serious mental illness?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend, obviously, on the diagnosis. If it's schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, medications would be very helpful to stabilize her. It may require hospitalization. It would, obviously decrease any type of paranoid delusions. It would improve her cognition and her thinking. And so yes, that could absolutely help. If it is, however, unrelated to serious mental illness, and it's more of harming her daughter in some way for her own benefit, that's a different issue. That's something that, is reflective of something that probably can't be treated.
Dr. Jamie Zuckerman, thank you so much. We know your time is valuable. We appreciate it. Crystal is going to stick around, folks. Still to come. Can law enforcement compel Ashley Buzzard to speak?
What do you think? Put a comment on how you feel from what we already know right now in this situation. Because right now we're all on the same page. Nobody knows. I guess I'm the only one that thinks that that's not that child in that picture. I mean, and if that's so, okay, fine. I have my opinion. What is your opinion? Please leave a comment below and let me know.
I'm Vinny Politan. We continue our investigation of the disappearance of Melodee Buzzard and her mother's complete lack of cooperation. Here's the story. A cross-country drive turned into a haunting mystery. 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard disappeared after leaving California with her mother, Ashley. Investigators say Ashley returned home alone, offering few details about the trip or her daughter's whereabouts. Now an urgent search stretches from Santa Barbara County to the fields of the Midwest, with drones, dogs, and volunteers refusing to give up. As clues...
Let's back up here just a second. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. Now look. She's wearing her purse crossbody. Okay? She's very pale complected. She's very pale complected. In my opinion, I think this is the person that was seen in the video footage with Ashley. I think this is the person that was in the video footage. I do not think it was Melodee.
Turned home alone, offering few details about the trip or her daughter's whereabouts. Now an urgent search stretches from Santa Barbara County to the fields of the Midwest, with drones, dogs, and volunteers refusing to give up. As clues dry up and timelines blur, one question echoes halfway across the country. What happened to Melodee Buzzard?
And again, the person who can answer this is Ashley, her mother, but she is not cooperating. She's not talking. Let's check back in with Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been following this case. All right, Cody, we've seen a lot of instances of her not speaking to people, trying to talk to her. Let's run through them if we can.
Okay. Amanda says, I think she's hiding her so the CPS doesn't take her. That's a very good theory. I 100% agree with you. I mean, we know, obviously, nobody can find the little girl, so she's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, Vinny, we've seen that on several occasions now. People trying to go up to her house. Sometimes she answers the door. Sometimes she doesn't. Let's take a look at some of them. Here we're going to see a family member. We're going to see Scripps News Group's own Crystal Bermudez, who we're going to speak with again shortly. We're going to see law enforcement and child welfare services all making an attempt to speak with her. Let's take a look.
While we were talking, Ashley Buzzard came out of the house.
Ashley?
And Karina quickly approached her.
Ashley, it's Karina. I just want to see if you're okay. If Melodee's okay, how you guys are doing. Do you have the time to speak with me?
Although she did not answer questions about Melodee, Ashley stated she was feeling overwhelmed and stressed and told.
Okay, so they're saying this is Ashley. Okay, I stand corrected. But that still wouldn't make that 9-year-old taller than that tall. Okay? I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I didn't know that this was actually Ashley that was standing here.
Do you have the time to speak with me?
Although she didn't.
See, she is almost, she's just a little bit shorter than her. But she's a tall lady. Okay, so here's Ashley. Her purse is cross-body. In the pictures at the car rental place, what looked to be like older lady had her purse on her shoulder, and the one in the back that they were saying was Melodee had it crossbody. So, I mean, let's look at the clues here.
Not answer questions about Melodee. Ashley stated she was feeling overwhelmed and stressed and told Karina she did not appreciate her being parked outside when she did not want to communicate with her.
Wait, this is my number right here. If you ever want to talk to me, I want a relationship with Melodee, please. Please, Ashley. Is she okay? Are you okay?
Did she mention anything about Melodee?
No, she didn't. I did ask her if Melodee is okay, as well if she's okay, but she did not answer.
Mesa says she's now left with even more questions.
I feel sad, like I wish she would have just told me, like, is she okay? That's all I want to know, is if my sister is okay. Ashley, I'm gonna get going now.
And in a final attempt to contact Ashley, Karina knocked on her door once more.
Lily and that side of the family either. And I would love to have a relationship with Melodee and you. We can get together and hang out with the kids. please take my number at the door so we can talk. I'm here for you and Melodee.
This is the Wonder Oven Pro from Our Place. Our next generation non-toxic air.
When I knocked, there was no answer.
Hey, my friend, you came back.
Yeah, right here.
And Vinny, I don't want it to be lost upon our viewers that this is a woman, this is a mother whose daughter is missing, and she's acting in this way. It's just so weird. But we also heard from a spokesperson with the investigating agency in this case speaking about Ashley Buzzard's lack of cooperation. Let's take a listen.
We have been in constant and consistent contact with Ashley, of course, asking, the where's Melodee questions consistently. She does still remain uncooperative.
And Vinny, regardless of all of this, it is important to remember that this case has still not grown into a criminal investigation.
Does anybody know where Ashley works? Where she's employed? She was absolutely wearing an apron right there, which means it's some sort of a kitchen facility.
Into Ashley Buzzard, at least yet.
No, it hasn't. And for a lot of people, this is very, very confusing. I have a lot of questions about it. Cody Thomas, thanks so much. Great job. That brings us to the next question in our investigation. Can law enforcement compel Ashley Buzzard to speak? Or can they put some pressure on her to speak? Here to help answer that question, former federal prosecutor, president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Rahmani, and former Los Angeles County Deputy Public Defender, Philip Dubé. I got my California kids with us tonight. Let's roll up our sleeves on this one. Nima, answer the question, because can law enforcement compel her to speak? You've got a child, you have sole custody, and no one knows where your child is.
Vinny, they can't compel her to speak. And
I want to be careful how I say this because I know Philip is going to make sure that Ashley has all her constitutional rights protected, but they can certainly pressure her and lean on her. And it's really going to depend on whether Melodee is alive. I'm going to be honest. If she is, I cut some sort of deal to return her home. The child's safety is paramount. And even if she's not...
Wait. How do you cut a deal with someone who won't... How do you cut a deal with someone who won't talk? Like she's saying nothing. She doesn't even answer the door.
Well, what you do is you contact her through law enforcement, and law enforcement make all sorts of different promises and threats, Vinny, and usually you got the DA behind them telling them what to do. So you tell her, listen, this is going to go one of two ways. You either provide us the information or you're going to be arrested and charged with neglect and eventually murder. So it's up to you. Now, oftentimes people will start talking. They'll get a good lawyer like Philip, and they'll know that it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when they're going to be arrested and charged. You have to use the leverage you have as a prosecutor, as law enforcement, to get the information you need to save Melodee's life.
You know, Philip, in many of these cases, there's usually a couple of parents involved. They may be in a custody battle. There may be other people involved. Here, it's just a mom and her daughter. She basically removed her daughter from school, was homeschooling, then went on this trip. Apparently, Melodee didn't come home. What can be done to get her to speak, to have her understand? Listen, we just want to know where Melodee is.
There is another route, and they cannot use the police to try to tell her to give an interview or make statement. But what they can do is they can get DFS social workers, go in the county council's office, a 300 petition. They have to make a showing that this child is in danger of substantial of to self or to emotional health.
Philip, I'm just going to stop you for 1 second, Philip. Your audio's kind of coming in and out. So maybe I'm going to give it one more shot because we're missing like half the words, and I know you've got the answer here. So let's try it one more time. Maybe just get a little closer to the mic, wherever it is.
Well, I told tech folks it's an issue. Can you hear me okay?
It's not great. It's not great, Philip. But go ahead. Okay. We'll give it a shot.
It's not. Here's the bottom line. They can go through the dependency. If she fails to appear, they can issue a warrant. If they pick her up on the warrant, the judge in the dependency court can force her to say where the child is or keep her. Okay, if the court is convinced that she's provided all known information, the court has to release her. But for now, there is no evidence that this child is facing substantial danger. So there is no foundation to bring a petition. Just none. So absent that type of foundation showing, the court's out of it and the cops are in.
All right, we got most of that,
I'm
Philip.
going to be honest with you.
Go ahead, finish up.
I believe that child is fine.
Nima, do you agree? Nima, do you think Melodee could be fine right now?
No. Yeah, and by the way, I know what Philip is talking about. I can give a summary. My wife is actually minors counsel in dependency court. So dependency court is when they terminate parental rights. That's the most extreme action, when they take your child away from you. So it's a civil proceeding. It's before a judge. So Philip is right. They can bring the mother before the dependency court and they can compel her to testify. And if she doesn't, they can terminate the rights. The problem is that doesn't really matter if the child is missing or dead and mom doesn't care. So it is another route. It's not the biggest hammer that the government has, but it's certainly one, and an important one as well. Dependency is important. You can, like I said, bring the mom. It's an important proceeding. It's actually the only type of proceeding outside a criminal case where the government's going to give you a lawyer. It's that important. But I still think the criminal justice system is the way to go, to lean on someone like this, because look, I don't want to bring up other cases, Vinny, and Philip says that she's alive, but we've covered cases in Florida, we've covered cases in Idaho, We know how this story ends. 8 times out of 10, the child is dead. So I hope that's not the case, but often I've been doing this long enough, and you and I, Vinny, we've covered so many of these cases. I would be surprised as more time passes by if we do end up finding Melodee.
All right, Nima Rahmani, thank you so much. Philip Dubé, you did a great job negotiating the technical difficulties, and we got to get your point across. Thanks so much, Philip. All right, coming up next, will the family be able to convince Ashley Buzzard to speak?
We love you. We're here for you.
My daughter almost got ripped off by her mechanic. I knew something was wrong when the...
Sunday nights on Court TV. Join us for a night of food, friends, and our favorite legal dramas. It's Order in the Court. And this week...
I'm Dr. Jason Bull. I study a jury's behavioral patterns.
Just give me more.
Not guilty, thank you. The verdict you get depends on me. You don't get a name like Bull because you give up before the game is over.
We're binge-watching Bull. Sunday starting at 6, 5 Central on Court TV.
As a mother, my mom heart absolutely cannot take this. I felt really inclined to step in. My hope was to make contact with the mother, maybe to be helpful.
That's one of Ashley and Melodee Buzzard's neighbors saying she wanted to step in. She wanted to help. I mean, everyone wants to help. Everyone would do whatever necessary to find this 9-year-old girl. I want you to take a listen to some of the family members. And remember Ashley's situation. The father of Melodee died when Melodee was 6 months old, but the father's family is involved here as well. So let's take a listen to some of the family members talking about Melodee and trying to find her.
He said, "Did you know that your granddaughter was missing?" And I said, "Missing?" He goes, "When's the last time you talked to your daughter?" I said, "I don't know, 2 years, a year and a half ago."
We haven't seen her in over 4 years due to the mother not allowing the family to see her. She has a beautiful smile. She's very friendly, very loving, very welcoming. She loved to be around her family. And she's listening. We love you. We're here for you. And we just want you to be happy and call me. This is my baby boy. And he's gone, and she was just a baby. But here, I took this picture at the hospital. I walking in, and he said, Mom, wait, Mom. I know your dad is watching you from heaven. I love you, baby.
That brings us to the next question in our investigation tonight. Will the family be able to convince Ashley Buzzard to speak? How about her family? If police can't do it, if child welfare services can't do it, if neighbors can't do it. Here to help with our investigation, Scripps News Group reporter Crystal Bermudez, and also joining us, national trial attorney, jury consultant, defense attorney Madeline Somerville. Let me ask you, Crystal, did you get any sense from speaking with all the family members on both sides that any of them will be able to get through to Ashley and maybe make that connection and get her to speak and to talk about Melodee and perhaps provide the answer?
Yeah, great question, Vinny. I feel like in the time that I've been there in the last 2 weeks, the only contact that I have been able to see just a bit successful in hearing Ashley speak was from Karina Meza, Melodee's oldest sister from her father's side. When Karina went to knock on the door, that's when Ashley spoke for the first time, at least with someone of a family member in that regard, and told her she didn't appreciate her being outside and parked and trying to make contact. She wished her well, and also wished her and her children well. Karina does have children as well that she was telling me Melodee and her kids used to play just before they were cut off from having contact with Melodee. But this was one of the rare interactions.
Okay, so this makes a lot more sense. This lady that's saying she wanted to have a relationship with Melodee is actually Melodee's sister from her dad. Like not Melodee. She's not Ashley's daughter, but she's Dad's daughter. And she's old enough that she's got children of her own, and her children played with Ashley's children. So Dad must have been pretty old, like way older, like 10 years older than Mom, than Ashley, to have a child that's like as old as Ashley, almost as old as Ashley, you know. Messed up situation, but this is a sister of little Ashley. Here we go.
I have seen Ashley actually speak back to a family member who was checking in to see if she was okay, if Melodee was okay. And during that interaction, Karina was really pleading in this moment, telling her, I just want to have a relationship with you and Melodee. Let's get a chance to get together. Please get in contact with me. I'm leaving my number on your door. So this was one, I would say, Vinny, one of those interactions that I think we were able to see some sort of feedback from Ashley in that moment.
Madeline, what are your thoughts here about the way this has developed? It's really unusual. I've never seen anything quite like it. Sometimes in a custody battle, things like this. There's no custody battle. She had custody of her 9-year-old daughter. What are your thoughts about convincing her to speak here?
Yeah, and we're not at trial. So we're trying to use certain mechanisms that perhaps are premature in order to be able to get her to speak. And so if we're talking about the family getting involved, there's a couple ways that can happen. Families can work with prosecutors to try to fill in gaps that the prosecutor might need, and the prosecutor can try to subpoena her or use other court mechanisms to be able to get documents that she might be like, or records from credit cards that she might have used along the way to try to be able to, again, fill in those gaps in the story. But the family, obviously, really no one can compel anyone to get, words out of their mouth. They have to speak them themselves. And that's why it becomes so difficult. But the thing that's different about family members or people that might know her is that they're usually really good at coaxing out the truth because they make people feel safe. The only time that confessions really happen is when people feel safe. My personal concern here is with the issue of sex trafficking. I'm concerned that that's what happened here. I'm obviously not sure. That's just my speculation from having reviewed the case, but I'm sincerely hoping that the family will be able to convince her you will be safe with whatever's going to happen to you, regardless. And we just need to make sure that Melodee will be okay.
Crystal, before we run out of time here, we have about 30 seconds left. Did the family give you any indication as to why there was this sort of breakaway by Ashley from the rest of her family? Because it seems like at some point they were all getting along.
Yeah, at least from the father's side, they have continuously repeated to me that it was Ashley, the mother in this situation, that cut off all the communication just about 4 years ago. Lori Miranda, Ashley's mother, tells me it was because she no longer understood her daughter, and for her own safety, she felt like it was best to step away. And other family members from the mother's side tell me they have had contact with her as early as just 2 years ago. So it's a bit unclear why this is so much separation is here present with Melodee, but from my understanding, it seems that Ashley has really distanced herself, and her mother describes at least the mother's side of the family as dysfunctional. But I do want to mention one thing, Vinny.
Crystal, we're out of time.
All right.
I'm so sorry. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. Thanks so much, Crystal Bermudez, Madeline Somerville. Ashley Buzzard knows what happened. She knows where she took Melodee, and that's what makes all of this so frustrating. A little girl's missing, and her mother's doing nothing to find her. We've seen this way too many times. Never ends well for the children, but I will continue to hope she is alive and can be found. I think all of us need to.
Thank you, Vinny. So, now we're going to go to Another part of court TV, many politician does closing statements, closing arguments, or whatever it's called. But this other lady does opening statements. So we're going to go and listen to her, the opening statements. And it's not very long because what she does, she talks about what's going to happen on court docket and all the beginnings of whatever, you know. So let's pull this up. I have the hiccups.
Our partners at the FBI that have some really, great equipment, training, experienced people, all of those things, we're coming at this investigation with from every angle and with everything that we have access to.
We have not been able to locate the child as of yet.
We want answers! We want answers!
Where is Melodee Buzzard? The search intensifies for the missing 9-year-old as police are investigating her mother's home. And Barry Morphew back in court today. The accused wife killer out on bail, all thanks to his supporters. We're asking, will his daughters be called to testify? Also this hour, a forensic psychologist on the show explaining how the 6-year-old who shot his teacher should have been tested for psychopathy even at his young age. Plus, we have new release restrictions for the former cheerleader whose newborn was allegedly found dead in a closet. So will this tip the scales of justice in the case against Lake and Snelling? It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements.
We owe an apology to anyone who's ever bought a Muddy Mat before because we lied. Yes, it's true that Muddy Mat's premium.
Good Monday morning to you, my friends. Welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. I hope you had a great Halloween weekend. We sure missed you here, and we put together a great show for you. So let's get it started. Grab that cup of coffee. It's time for my opening statement. Tick-tock. It is only a matter of time before Ashley Buzzard is behind bars, behaving like she doesn't have a care in the world, with nothing helpful to say to federal and state investigators who are working tirelessly to find her missing daughter, tells me everything I need to know. If your child was missing, God forbid, you would go to the ends of the earth to find your baby. Here, this rotten, sorry excuse for a mother is actually pulling down the missing posters of her daughter, Melodee. Why? That makes about as much sense as a screen door on a submarine. Unless she had something to do with Melodee's disappearance. We know that she was the last person to see Melodee alive. At that time, her 9-year-old was wearing a disguise. Why? She then left California with Melodee.
That's the child that I do not believe is a 9-year-old. I've never seen a 9-year-old with Tata. I'm sorry.
Melodee driving her all the way to Nebraska, but returns home without her. Why? Sounds like she did something to me. At the very least, right now, she is endangering the welfare of her daughter and obstructing justice. So make no mistake about it, legally, she can be arrested last week for those crimes. But investigators seem to want to keep her out of the jail. And they hopefully will have that strategic decision helping them in the long run in the case. But my friends, I'm still of the opinion that she should have been cuffed already. And I hope and I pray that beautiful Melodee is alive and will be rescued and brought home. That's my opening statement on this Monday morning. Let me know if you like it right now.
All right, so that's all she had to say about opening statements. I told you it was real short. Okay, next we're going to go to okay, I don't know who is doing this one. Where are we taking a step back to? Do you mean, is Melodee going to be brought home? That would be Melodee brought home to Ashley so that the police can get a hold of her and CPS can take her away. That's what I would think. If she was legally in the mother's care, was she not already? She was home until the mother went to Nebraska. It's somewhere between Nebraska and home. What if she's being hidden because the other side of the family is trying to take her? The grandma says she hasn't seen her in about 2.5 years or 4 years, something like that. And the older sister that walked up to the door and was talking to Ashley, she hadn't seen her in a couple of years, I guess. So I don't think Ashley's fighting with the dad's side of the family. Likely story, if they're trying to take her, they'd come up with something. Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. It does make sense. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see where this one goes. Because, I mean, you can see. She said it was about 2 years ago when they cut off all contact. The grandma said that. And grandma says she's been buying gifts for her birthdays and Christmas and hasn't been able to give them to her because she's been waiting to be able to see her. So, I mean, something said, right, who is notorious for trafficking? And who cut contact with you? Right, we don't know the answers to those questions at the moment. I mean, I don't know who just messaged me that says, yes, sorry, please keep me posted. I have not, I don't know. So anyway, I guess Ashley quit taking her daughter. I seen on a report. Yes. The sister that we saw that walked up to the door, I seen another video, which I don't know exactly where it's at, but I saw another video that she was saying that they were over for a birthday party. And yeah, the father had to be older. If Melodee's sister is almost the same age as Ashley, because she looked the same age. That sounds familiar too. I mean, not familiar, but it does make sense. So apparently, Ashley and Melodee were at a birthday party at the older sister's house. And Ashley was playing with the other kids and getting along, and everything was going really good. And Melodee was playing. I get the two mixed up. But Ashley was fixing to leave. The older sister said, why don't you let Melodee stay here and play with the kids, and then you can come back and get her later. Or she can spend the night, okay, something like this. After that interaction, when Ashley and Melodee left the house, nobody has seen Ashley since. Melodee since. It was kind of like a Glenda situation. When I told Glenda, let us help you with Alex, and until you can get on your feet, let us help you. Then she took off to Maryland and she told you that I was trying to take Alex away from her. She could have came and got him anytime she wanted. I wouldn't have stopped her, but I wanted to help her. And if she'd have let me help her, I would have said, hello, no do. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't leave my kids like that. I mean, I left them with my mom, don't get me wrong. I left you guys with my mom. But just to leave with I don't know. I can't say. If I had, okay, let's put it this way. Glenda has an older brother. We all know he's your age, okay? He's older than you are. Is he like 4 years younger than I am? Yeah, okay, so Glenda has an older brother that's like just 4 years younger than I am. There's no way I would have left Glenda with him, even if he was a girl. Don't get me wrong. There's no way I would have left Glenda with him. Or you, or anything, because even though they're my relatives, I couldn't trust them well enough. Because as a matter of fact, I haven't seen her brother since before her dad died. I have no idea where he's at either. They could be together, as far as I know. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to this. Oh, I gotta pull it up on the screen.
In a quiet suburban neighborhood, what began as an ordinary afternoon turned into sheer horror. Samantha Booth, a 23-year-old nanny, had been trusted to care for a 2-year-old child, but investigators say she spiraled into a
Wrong story. I thought that woman looked weird. And apparently they didn't even know them very well. I wouldn't leave my child with people she didn't know. It's true. Not by choice, anyway. When your children went where they went to the person you didn't know at the time, you didn't have a choice for that. Their father had a lot to do with that. So you don't get blamed for none of that. Okay, so let's go back to Road Trip No One Understands, the Melodee Buzzard case. And this is from Hidden Killers with Tony Rueski, True Crime Today. I've never heard of him. Says security footage, a 9-year-old in a gray hoodie and wig beside her mother at a Lompoc Road. See, I still say I don't believe that's the 9-year-old. But let's see if they've got another image that will show more. Okay, let's turn the volume on. Turn the page up. I don't know who these people are. Well, I've never heard of this channel. It just came up. Hi, Zoe. I'm watching it. Why aren't you? Back it up.
Stacey Cole and Todd Michaels.
We're talking about the Melodee Buzzard situation right now, where she is missing as of this recording. Mom has not yet been arrested. Thinking charges may be imminent. We'll find out she's innocent until proven guilty, but the case is where it sits right now. She went to Nebraska and didn't come back with her daughter. And now we wait. Wait for her to crack, wait for her to say something, wait for...
Do you think those are the same person? I think this is the person that carried laundry in.
Somebody to find a body, wait for whatever is going to happen. But
let me ask you something, Tony and Todd. Yeah. What's the longest you've driven by yourself?
Without another driver?
Bingo.
Yeah. Probably 12 to 16 hours, but then like a day off, or maybe 2 days. I wouldn't drive that again the next day.
So 3,000 miles round trip, right? Because it was 1,500 one way.
Yeah.
In what, 3 days?
Basically.
I do think it's the same person, but I also have questions about why after 2 years are they just now asking where she is. Well, see, the school, he was homeschooled, and her school has certain activities, like she's supposed to go to field trips and stuff like this with the school that she's, even though she's homeschooled, she's still registered with the school system in town where she lives. That's the way homeschooling works. And they have to go to the school every so often for like field trips and science fairs and things like this. And that's part of associating children with other children and things like that. So she hasn't showed up for like 3 of them in a row. So the school got concerned and sent somebody out to do a welfare check on her. And that's where all this blew up, is when the school asked somebody to go do a welfare check on her.
Quite a drive, yeah.
Yeah, how do you do that by yourself? I get a little winded driving 3 hours, and I'm just
well,
like,
talk to any over-the-road truck driver. They do it daily,
Well, of course, but she's not. She's not one of those.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it. I mean, are you? It's doable if you're on a mission.
Well, either you're on a mission. You're on a mission, or there was somebody else involved between point A and point B.
And that's my big question. Who else was involved in this?
And that's a big question. I don't know. I mean, I think there's the first thing that came to my mind on this, and I don't know why, but because she drove so far, maybe that's why, was, she trafficked her daughter.
Yeah.
Because she went into a corridor where this happens a lot too. Like the physical locations she traveled amongst. Like, and I don't know, did she go there with an intention, a stopping point, a direction, someone she was going? Again, pure speculation. The woman's been charged with nothing. If this is what happened, as we speculate, did she go with the intention of meeting up with a specific person, or did she just go along the route and make a lot of stops at gas stations and Walmarts and whatever, shopping her around?
That whole idea just made me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shopping around thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some reports from people who say they did see them at a Walmart in Omaha. Police have not verified that at this point, but they're all over Facebook saying that they've contacted the police department there. So
you're telling me Harvard discovered
you can improve vision by nearly 40% in just a few days.
And very likely so. I mean, I'm sure they made some stops. I'm sure people saw them when they were out, but are they, did they stand out from the crowd? Honest to God, you look at the pictures of them at the car rental place. I don't know. I walk into Walmart, that looks like half the customers. And I'm not saying anything bad about Walmart. I'm just saying people in general. I mean, everybody's wearing hoodies. Everybody's, everybody looks, semi-sus half the time these days.
Well, who dresses up to go to Walmart? I mean, the places that I've gone that, with my hair in a ponytail and sweats, it's Walmart, let me tell you. I dress up to go to Target, but Walmart, meh.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I would, be thinking anything weird about. I mean, and that's why this trafficking, that's why it's so successful and why it goes on around us all the time. Because it's not out there the way that you may think of it in movies where, does it exist in some horrible ways? Yes. But they're not always sitting there rotting away in a basement, with shackles on. No. They're in Walmart next to you. They're shopping. They look like they're with, you assume, oh, this must be their mother. This must be their father. This must be babysitter, brother, sister, whoever they may be with. You're hoping it's the best. But some cases, you just don't know. And sometimes you get really weird feeling.
Seriously, 90% of the time when you see somebody walking through Walmart, you don't even think about who they're with. It don't matter. They're not in your way. They're not bothering you. They're there to do the same thing you're there to do. It doesn't matter who they are or who they're with. You see them there, you make sure you're not in their way, and that's the last you think of. Unless they're causing a commotion. And then it kind of triggers you for a minute. But no. I don't think about who's in Walmart.
It's like, what the hell is going on over here? And sometimes it's just, this is just a horrible parent. Why on earth do they have custody of this child? Because they're so irresponsible. But more times than not, they're not out there trying to make noise. They're not the ones that are going to stand out in the crowd because they don't want the attention. The ones that are making noise and are just horrible parents, being with their children that are byproducts of themselves, that are causing scenes because they're so stupid. They don't realize that, gee, maybe I'll get CPS calling me for causing a scene here in the Walmart. But things like this, no, they want to fly below the radar. And that's why they're everywhere. This is just one we happen to notice. And I don't know why this one is the one we happen to notice, because kids go missing all the time. But this, because I think you got her, almost, in a cage here. The mom of like, why are we paying attention now, I guess is the other question. Why couldn't this attention have been on this girl prior to this?
2 years before.
Yeah. But we have a system where too many rights end up going, too many rights, quote unquote, are being protected of the mentally ill. Quite honestly, there are so many laws that protect people, and again, there's reasons for those laws. There's places and times where they do make sense, from people abusing the rules and the laws and going out and this person's crazy, they shouldn't have their children. We'll automatically take them. That's not how that works. Thankfully so. But at the same point, we don't have the system functioning where someone is making these claims, that it's investigated properly and that can actually make a safe judgment call on this and protect a child. So there's always something missing in the process. Something's missing in all of the systems where we say on paper, well, this is how it should work. And it doesn't. And when you have someone who is mentally ill, someone who is going through something like this mother sounds like she was, and you have family saying, we really, something needs to be done here, well, she has to want to get help first.
Yeah.
And even when you do have the resources to get that, especially if you have the resources to get the person help, they have to want it. And then you have to be able to get them there. The reality, though, in most cases is they don't want the help and there's no resources available, or they're too expensive, or they're out of reach, or what have you. So there's another pitfall. So even if you do want it, good luck getting it.
Pull the thread and the hole is fixed. Next time your clothes tear or come apart, don't throw them away. With this simple trick, you can restore them. First, draw a curved guideline along the tear.
And then let's trust them with children.
I don't know. I'm just sitting here. I get so exasperated about this, get worked up about it. And your comments make a lot of sense, Tony, but they don't make me feel any better.
No.
I need somebody to make me feel better about this. And I don't know what it's going to take. Like, we finally find out the girl's fine. She's with a friend and whatever. I mean, that would be wonderful. But we're getting to the point, and even a lot of the analysis that's coming from FBI and police and legal, they're just saying this is not, as we get farther and farther out from this trip, it's not looking very good.
Especially if they're tearing up, drywall and flooring. That's not a good sign for a missing person.
No, they're looking for trace evidence that maybe something happened there. The fact, though, that the only good thing about this is that there's video of her in the car rental place before the trip took place.
So we know nothing happened prior.
Meaning, if they're looking in the house, they're probably not going to find, bodily material that shows like she was murdered and then trafficked or went and dumped in Nebraska. But I think the digital trail is what's going to be most revealing. So whatever is on that mother's phone, whatever is on her computer, whatever is there, that's what's going to be, I think, the most revealing in this case, more than anything else. Because it shows she was the car is going to be a touchy one, because the car could show a lot. Did something happen in that vehicle, and what was the reason for it? But I mean, there's no parent. There's no parent that's going to come back from a trip and everybody's looking for your kid, and you're going to literally take down the missing posters, not cooperate with police if you know where your kid is. Unless you do know where your kid is and you don't want to be found.
Well, you have every chance to say, oh, wait a second, my kid is with Aunt Betty, and then Aunt Betty produces a photo or video or whatever, and, today's newspaper showing the date, she's fine.
There's no reason.
None of
there's
that.
No reason. And if it's something more personal, like behind the scenes of whatever it may be, that the world doesn't need to know about, you can convey that to authorities.
And they can say, we have confirmed the child is well, the child is fine. Yeah. We're moving on and closing this investigation. And then we go about our business and find another story to talk about. But nobody has said that.
Yeah.
Nobody has said that.
Yeah.
Where is she?
That's the question. And that's something that, as of right now, we do not know. Another piece of this that I want to bring up that I mentioned quite a bit, but I did a little more digging into it over the weekend, is the crazy amount of lost kids. And this is just California. It's the only one I looked at. But between 2019 and 2020 and 2021 and 2022 school years, California lost roughly 270,000 public school students.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
270,000 public school students off the roster. Now, there is ways of breaking this down more. But even when you do that, state tracking does explain most, where keep in mind COVID years here too.
Okay.
So there's a lot of homeschooling and all that. So yes, the roster did dramatically get affected, but then kids started coming back to school, and then we started getting back on the books where things back to normal. Here's where we're accounting for the existence of children. Well, still about 150,000 of them can't be accounted for.
Okay, it looks like they changed the subject. So yeah, I'm concerned for little Melodee. I wish I knew where to start and had the funds to be able to go out there and go to all these places and look and, spend a couple of days in each city and see if I could find her. But that would take months, and I don't have the resources to do that. So who does? We'd have to rely on people that are already in those areas to be able to go out and search in those areas to see if they can find her. And my prayer is that she turns up. She calls somebody. That little Ashley, or little Melodee, dial 911. Say, I'm Melodee Buzzard. Come get me. That's all it takes. All any missing person needs to do. Dial 911. Say, I'm so-and-so. Come get me so I can get home. That's it. That's it. So, anyway, I'm going to turn this crap off. I've had enough country music. I don't know how it ended up in my feed, but I have the title, the rights to it, so I can use it. All right, so I thank you for being here. Do something nice for someone, even if it's be the reason that they smile, and search for crime. I'm going to go shampoo some carpets. Adios.